global undertaking. So Matt from ADEC can join me very quickly.
Thank you. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Alistair. Thanks, everyone. You'll be glad to see I've only got 5 minutes, so if I can get the first bell, I'll go. So I'll wrap up doing. So basically, you've heard about a coalition forming to manage challenges within the supply chain to improve sustainability in the outdoor industry. We've heard about GSA and what they're doing to curate a ESG question set and basically a set of data for the service industry within ESG. And what I'm going to introduce to you today is the concept to bring those two things together. So to take the ESG data set, but also take the concepts that we developed with ZDHC and other organisations, bring them together so you can actually see that data set across the supply chain. So if you think about some of those diagrams from Graham, replace the apparel chemical standards with the GSA data set, replace a little logo of a factory with a call centre or a service provider in your supply chain. That's the concept that we're introducing today, and we want to get conversations going. We want to find out if people are interested in progressing with that, building a program for GSA members. So, yeah, why are we talking about that? Why am I here talking about that concept? So I'm a colleague of Dan's. I work for ADEC Innovations. ADEC, I think the best way to describe us is a purpose-driven global business services company. Everything we do, we try to bring a positive impact to the services that we provide. That ranges from growing seaweed to make aquaculture more sustainable, seaweed as a service, to BPO, outsourcing and impact sourcing, environmental and ESG consultancy and professional services, and technology, like the supply chain management solutions that you saw earlier on. And we work with organisations, but we also work with the UN, coalitions like the ZDHC. So we're used to working with multi-stakeholder organisations such as the GSA. So we think this is an exciting opportunity. So what are we actually proposing today? Well, the vision is quite a big one. It's said here, industry-wide collaboration to drive sustainability across the supply chain. But that's a big thing. So how do we start? What are the first steps? Well, what we want to do, as Kerry mentioned, is this would really be at a site level. So you'd basically be mapping out all the sites within your service provider supply chain. It could include your own sites, obviously, as well. Using the GSA ESG data set, basically to collect data, report that, give you the visibility and the business intelligence, red, amber, green, of how all those sites are doing, how each of them are scoring, obviously with access control and confidentiality built in. So that's the vision. The first steps that we'd like to start talking about today is to really do what Graham did with the ZDHC, so is to form a consortium. That was what we'd like to do. So we'd like to engage with interested members of the GSA, particularly those that value sustainability and are looking to drive sustainability through their supply chain. We'd like to work with those members, form that consortium, work with those members to define an initial scope. I imagine that initial scope, what I've called a minimal viable program, that's going to include some technology, it's going to involve some supply engagement services, those sorts of things as well. It's going to start with the GSA ESG dataset at the core, and then we'd like to run a pilot just as Graham did with a handful of the brands at the beginning of the ZDHC, to establish the practice and demonstrate the value. I think obviously from the buyer side, that's going to give a lot more visibility. It's going to enable much easier mapping of the supply chain. From a provider side, I think that there's the main advantage is the ability to measure what you're doing and communicate what you're doing, but also avoid duplication. Because if we get good adoption here, you only have to submit that data once per site, rather than filling in all these different questionnaires for every client that you're working with. So there we go. I told you I'd wrap through it quickly. I don't know if I've peaked for 5 minutes.
You've got 19 seconds left.
19 seconds. So please come and talk to us. We're really excited about this opportunity. We'll be around all day, and yes, thank you very much.